are here the night after WNBA fight night. Sophie Cunningham putting JC Sheldon in a clinch. Marina Mabrey targeting Caitlin.
The Fever game turned into complete chaos, featuring 6 technical fouls, 3 ejections, and 2 flagrant fouls. Amidst the mayhem, one moment grabbed the spotlight. Marina Mabrey delivered an unexpected shove to Caitlin Clark, but was surprisingly allowed to stay in the game. In contrast, Sophie Cunningham was ejected, sparking a wave of criticism from fans who pointed out the apparent double standard.
All they had to do was just eject her. All they had to do was eject her and none of this happens. If the referees had ejected Marina Mabrey, nothing else happens. The Sophie Cunningham situation does not happen.
After the game, the league quietly upgraded Mabrey's foul to a flagrant 2. This raised serious questions. Didn't the officials catch it in real time? And what prompted the league to act only after public backlash?
So, there are 4 players fined in that game. 4 players fined in that game, but the referees, the scariest part about all this is that the referees came out with their report. They came out with their report and said, the contact made by Mabrey did not rise to the level of ejection. Additionally, it did not meet the criteria for a flagrant 2 penalty. And it was given as a technical foul, not even a flagrant.
That's right, Marina Mabrey's shove on Caitlin Clark wasn't just another hard foul. It became the defining moment of the game. The play was straightforward. Clark wasn't looking when Mabrey delivered a blindside shove that sent her crashing to the floor. The reaction from the crowd and broadcast team was immediate. While the officials blew the whistle, they surprisingly ruled it only a technical foul, no flagrant 2. No ejection. Broadcasters and players alike questioned the decision, calling it a blatant cheap shot. Even in a game filled with physical play and technical fouls, this incident felt like something entirely different.
A lot of it is centered around the last 46 seconds where Sophie Cunningham hard fouls JC Sheldon. She gets ejected, JC gets ejected, does Lindsay? I think Lindsay gets ejected. And in watching the broadcast, even the broadcasters at the time mentioned if they would have just ejected Marina Mabrey, this probably wouldn't have happened.
Social media erupted as the clip went viral within minutes, with fans questioning, how is this not an ejection? And are the referees even paying attention? Many felt that allowing Mabrey to stay in the game set a precedent for overly physical play, signaling that the officials were losing control. The confusion deepened when comparing how other fouls were handled. Sophie Cunningham, for instance, was ejected immediately for a hard foul that wasn't nearly as blatant or aggressive as Mabrey's shove.
So Caitlin Clark gets poked in the eye. Marina Mabrey doesn't even see what happens, and she just decides to clean Caitlin Clark out of it. And the referees just said, nah, it was not worth an ejection.
To the contrast, was hard to miss. Cunningham was ejected on the spot, while Mabrey remained in the game despite delivering what appeared to be a far more dangerous play.
And then she was getting attacked. Like, she was just standing there. She was standing there. What is she supposed to do? She's protecting herself. She didn't throw hands or anything. She just held it. She didn't punch. She didn't slap, eye gouge. She didn't do any of that. She just held it. All right, so I don't know, man. That's my opinion on it.
Fans and analysts continued to highlight the glaring inconsistency. Had the referees applied the rules evenly, Mabrey would have been ejected just like Cunningham. Instead, the decision felt arbitrary, leaving everyone uncertain about what the actual standard was. The controversy didn't end with the final buzzer, in fact. That's when the WNBA stepped in and revised the call after the fact.
So basically, all they had to do was just eject her. All they had to do was eject her and none of this happens. If the referees had ejected Marina Mabrey, nothing else happens.
The league later upgraded Mabrey's technical 2, a flagrant 2, and issued a fine and admission that the original call was wrong. But instead of calming the backlash, it added fuel to the fire. Fans saw it as proof that the officials missed an obvious call, making the inconsistency even harder to ignore.
So yeah, she ended up stating this. Marina Mabrey's technical from last night's Fever Sun game has been upgraded to a flagrant 2. Oh man, the league told ESPN a flagrant 2 comes from a standard fine. Additionally, Sophie Cunningham was fined separately for her hard foul with 46 seconds to play. No players will be suspended. So that's the end result of everything. I think she came down here and said something as well. And to this point, neither coach has been fined for their post-game criticism over the official.
The league explained that Mabrey's shove met the criteria for excessive force and should have been ruled a flagrant 2, but that only raised more questions. Why wasn't it called that way in real time? The play happened right in front of the officials and was obvious to everyone watching. Even neutral fans were left puzzled. Was it simply a bad judgment call? Or does the WNBA have a deeper issue with how fair play is defined and enforced?
Now, people are calling for Sophie Cunningham's ejection from the league. People are commenting under Marina Mabrey stuff.
That wasn't the only puzzling moment from the game. Clark was hit with a technical for reacting after being poked in the eye, and Cunningham received an upgraded foul and a fine even though her play looked less severe than Mabrey. Altogether, it felt like the rules kept shifting throughout the game. Had Mabrey been ejected when she should have been, the outcome might have looked very different. Instead, the league's upgrade came too late to make any real impact.
It is kind of, frustrating to see the hypocrisy like everywhere in all the spaces when it comes to the Indiana Fever, because I'm seeing the same people saying, and the same people in the media, the same people in social media, which social media doesn't really count and it shouldn't, but these are filtering to people in the mainstream media saying it was a physical league last season to Sophie should be ejected and her spot should be considered in the league, and calling her out on all these physical plays that were totally excusable until the Indiana Fever do them.
And all of this has left fans, players, and coaches asking the same question. How can anyone trust the system when the calls aren't consistent? The gap between what's called during the game and what the league rules afterward only deepens the confusion. And perhaps the most telling part, the officials and the league didn't even agree on what happened. That's where the real debate begins.
There's no way y'all coming after the game and then now you're saying, oh, it should have been a flagrant 2. Oh, we should have. Look, you're catching the smoke and now you want to change it. You need to do it during the game. All right, during the game, go ahead and call it the way it is, man. Stop with the nonsense.
So here's the real question: who's truly responsible for this mess? The referees who made the call on the court, or the league that stepped in afterward? All eyes turned to referee Ashley Gloss, who explained post-game that Marina Mabrey's foul didn't meet the standard for an ejection or a flagrant 2. That's why the officials settled on a technical and moved on. But here's what she said.
She didn't even get the 2 free throws in possession. She didn't even get a flagrant. I've never seen a technical upgraded to a flagrant 2 before. I've never seen that happening before. Like, it wasn't even called a flagrant 1. It was a tech upgraded to a flagrant 2.
But just hours later, the WNBA overruled its own officiating crew, officially upgrading the foul to a flagrant 2. That wasn't just a correction, it was a public contradiction. Suddenly, everyone was asking, how does a play go from not warranting an ejection to the kind of hit that gets you thrown out?
The contact made by Mabrey did not rise to the level of an ejection. Additionally, it did not meet the criteria for a flagrant foul penalty 2.
Fans jumped on it immediately. As soon as the league's announcement was made, social media exploded with clips, commentary, and confusion. If the rules are clear, why did the referees and the league interpret the same play so differently? The league's decision didn't just put Ashley Gloss and her crew in a difficult position, it raised serious questions. Is the WNBA truly following its rulebook, or simply reacting to public backlash? Is this about making the right call, or just silencing the noise after the fact?
Out with this statement saying, yeah, it was a flagrant 2. So this just clearly shows me the referees need some schooling, man. Okay? They need some schooling. You had these referees out here clueless, man. And I was wondering what was taking them so long to call the right call. I swear to you, man, we lived 2 lifetimes before they came back and said what they needed to say about the nonsense that happened. Question was, why did Caitlin Clark get a technical foul? She ended up coming back and saying, after the foul by Sheldon, Clark reacted in an unsportsmanlike manner toward Sheldon. Huh? Now the flagrant was Sophie. I'm still questioning that. I'm still questioning because it looked like a take foul, fam. And don't tell me y'all never seen somebody grab LeBron James, like hold him like both of his arms, try to hold him down. He fights through it, still makes the bucket. Don't tell me y'all never seen it.
At the end of the day, as long as bad referees are allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do, as long as bad referees can get away with every single thing they want and can get away with stuff like this, nothing will ever change. Nothing will ever change. It's good that the ref did something about it, but they should have did something about it way earlier. They could have prevented all of this. They could have prevented every bit of this, but they chose not to.
This is what she said. Every time they comment, I make dollars. Like, if you guys don't know about Sophie Cunningham and Marina Mabrey, who these 2 people are, Like, you need to just know the lore. Like, Marina Mabrey. This is how great. Like, Dejanay calls Marina Mabrey her evil twin.
But like, Marina Mabrey is a crash out artist. Like, there's literally this page, if you guys haven't seen, called Women Who, and 90% of what they do is just fights. There's 175,000 subscribers, 10,000 videos. 90% of what they do is Marina Mabrey will find any excuse to knock someone on the ground or like go at somebody. We saw that when she was with the Sky. We'll see that with the Sun. We've seen that when she was with the Wings. Like, that's Marina Mabrey. That is Marina Mabrey at the end.